Chit Chat Kit Kats. For those that are into tarot cards, I just got some delivered, and they're from Drive-Thru. It's called Drive-Thru. Now, these were takeoffs on the original ones. Now, I don't have them in order, so we're just going to go through the deck real quick. But you can see they took the original cards and then printed them. Now, that's the cardstock. So they're a little thinner than the ones I have from the 70s. Here's one from the 70s. Well, maybe no, it's about the same. This is, oh, okay, we've got the same card here, King of Cups. This is the 70s deck, and here's the reprint from the originals, okay? So the 70s deck, you can see, is lighter colors than is this reprint of the originals. So that's going to be the difference. So we're just going to run through these real quick so that you can see what they look like. It's got the original backing on it. So we'll just kind of go through these real quick so you can see what they look like. Now, these aren't bad. They have a little bit more of a kind of the antique look when you get it up close. The way they're printed, it's kind of, you can't really tell on the screen, but in person, you can see the difference in them, the way that they're printed. It looks like, how can I explain it? Kind of like more dot printing, something like that, I guess you could say. But it does have a look and a feeling of a little bit more antiquity than do the 70s deck, okay? But again, these are new ones, and they're through the drive-through. And it took a while to get these. Now, they came from Overland, Kansas, so why it took so long to get them, I don't know. But there's a little bit of different colors in this, a little bit. I don't know why it took so long. It took so long that I forgot that I even ordered them. So they came in the mail, and I go, oh, what is this? And then I saw it, oh, drive-through, and then I remembered, oh, yeah. So this one, you can see a little bit more of that background, the way the colors are. So they do have a little bit more of this antique look, because I think they did have a deck of the originals that they rephotographed and then did the printing from. So if you like to have this more of kind of the antique from the original, this might be a decent deck to have. But this is a takeoff from the original deck that was done in 1909. Okay. And as soon as we're done with this, I'll show you the other deck that I got from the same company that has the Crackle back on it. But it is, again, different though. And that's the deck I've been using for the last few days. Now, as you can tell, this is one of my favorite decks, the Rider-Waite. I have to say, though, I do like the Byzantine Tarot that I just got as well. You know, you keep buying decks and hope that you're going to get one that's just really going to be the deck. The one. So, but I find I keep coming back to the Rider-Waite. The Rider-Waite or my Aquarian, or the, what's the other one that I really like? And the Aquarian and the Morgan Greer, I do have the decks from the 60s, 70s. And it is a heavier cardstock, okay? Which I do like as well. So those, I think those are my 3 favorite decks. And if I had to have a 4th, it would be that Byzantine. Okay. So again, you can see from this one, you can see the way that it's colored. It has that feeling of the older type of printing, I guess you could say, on it. So if you like a deck that feels more like having that kind of age to it, this might be one that you would enjoy having. Okay, so that is the takeoff of the original deck from 1909. Now, the other deck I got from that same company is the Crackle back. Now, I do like the Crackle back, but what's different about this deck is it's got bright colors. They do not have the lettering. They do not have the borders around it. So you get the nice big image, and I'm finding that I really like that. Now, if you've been doing tarot for enough time, you don't need to have the names on them. But if you're just starting tarot, you might want to have the lettering and things on it. So we'll just go through here, but you'll see that the images in this are nice and bright, and I do like this larger image without that border on it. So I think this might become one of my kind of favorite decks now, for the fact that you get the nice big image and you don't have the clutter of the names and the border and things that take away from it. Now, if you're like me and you do more intuitive reading than you do with a standard, this is what this card means, it may mean something different to me in different readings. Like some of them, I read almost the opposite of what you'd read in a book. Like the King of Swords, a lot of the books will say that it's somebody that's antagonistic and all of that. Sometimes I will read it as somebody that just really stands for truth. Like this, like the feminine one here. It's usually the slice and dice, somebody that's catty and just, you know, has basically do whatever it takes. Well, I might read it that way sometimes, and then sometimes I may read it almost to the opposite. So I read more by intuition than one that goes for an established meaning of the cards. And so that's another reason why I like that it doesn't have the border and the numbers and things on it. Okay. And again, if you've been reading for a while, you know what they are already. You know this is the 8. Okay. You know this is the 10. Okay. So, you know what they are already. And you don't need those. Those are just kind of extraneous. And I think sometimes they just kind of get in the way of the reading. Okay. So the reason I got these to begin with, because I do like the Crackle back. I was looking for an original deck, but you can't find them, okay? They're really difficult to find. Now this is, again, a little bit different, the color. Usually on these you see this background as kind of a gray color. In this one it's not. It doesn't, and I do like the colors on this as well. Some of the cards are brighter. And some of the colors are a bit different on it than what you see in a lot of the Rider-Waite decks that they've done. I do like the greens in this better than I do on some of the Rider-Waite decks. Some of them, the greens are more like, remind me of a jealousy color kind of, but this is a nice, I like the colors greens in this. Okay. And here, again, you have more of this kind of a beige rather than that gray that they put in some of them. Now, if you use color for interpretation of them as well, that can make a difference in how you view the cards, how you feel about it, the energy surrounding it. Like I do a lot of color when I'm interpreting, like yellow has to do with mental realm, okay? Reds are actions. The green is usually heart-centered. So it just depends on how you read cards. For you, maybe the color doesn't mean so much. Here is, again, a different color. Usually that's a gray-gray. This is kind of a, maybe purplish pink. So, again, it has a different feel to it than the other cards do. Bit of different feel with the devil as well. So I'm finding that I really am kind of drawn to this deck. It's probably one I'm going to be using even more than my 70s deck that I just paid quite a bit of money for. But no, I really am liking this without those borders. I just wish it had a little heavier cardstock. But be that as it may, I am liking this deck. I think this is different as well. I'm going to have to go through the decks and see. It's a little different feeling. But this is the Crackle back deck. I think this was the second series that they had put out. Was it 1920s? 20s and 30s, I think, is when this deck came out. But again, this is different. I mean, the Crackleback deck came out 20s and 30s. Man, I wish they had it like exactly like this in the original Crackleback, because I would definitely be looking for that deck because I do love these. They're growing on me, I have to say. This deck is really... And this is done in the linen finish. Now, I do like the linen finish. I got this deck, DaBrigh. Was his name DaBrigh? This deck is the linen finish as well, and I have really enjoyed this deck. This was sent to me gratis to do a report on it, and I have to say, I do really like this deck. It was, the price on it is phenomenal. Colors are great on it, and the way it shuffles is great. And if you're just getting into it, I think the deck is like $12 or something. You can't beat it. You know, this is a great deck. But you can see, I wish I could find the... Oh, here it is. Okay. Here is the DaBrigh deck you can get for like $12. And here it is in the one that I just got, that Crackleback. Cards are the same size. This Crackleback is a bit more rounded corners. Okay. A little bit older feeling on this. But you can see the difference of them. This does not have the border around it. This has the darker colors. This has a little lighter color. So that's the difference. Yeah, it looks like this image is a little more... You look at the face and stuff, and it does feel a bit different again. And here we've got the red shoes. Here we have more light. So it's just a difference in preference. You know, if you like the more standout colors and you want that border and the numbers and things on your deck. Now, a lot of people get these decks and then they cut these borders off, but then you've got to do a lot of, you know, cutting and stuff on your deck, and it's a little more difficult. But yeah, so that's the feeling of the difference between those decks. This is the DaBrigh. I think it's called, what is it called? Original Tarot, maybe? But you can get these on Amazon. Just look for that backing, DaBrigh. And really a nice deck if you're, you know, just starting out. And it's got really good cardstock. Colors are nice and bright. And you can't beat it for the price. It's got a heavier cardstock than this does. You can see the size of these decks. It's, you can see it's that much more, so it's heavier cardstock than does this one, and much less in price, okay? Really much less in price. I think I paid on these, they were a bit, they were more expensive. I can't remember what I paid for these. This is the original art only crackback design, limited edition, illustrated, restored by Real, self-published with My Lucky Card, at My Lucky Card. Okay, My Lucky Card, but it comes from Drive-Through something Tarot and in here in the U.S. 78 Tarot size card deck, and it's got 2 extra cards with it. And it comes in this kind of funky box, which is really lightweight. So here are the other 2 cards. Now, I love those cards. They're great. They're really pretty. It would be nice to see a deck of this, you know, this, but yeah. Anyway, that's this Crackle back deck. I'll see if I can find the information again on how much this deck was. So I'll put that in the description about these decks, and then also this one that you can get on Amazon. Like I said, the cardstock is better on this, heavier cardstock, and you can't beat the price. You know, I have really enjoyed this deck. You can see that the things are much brighter than the things in this deck. Okay. So I'm going to leave this here. Love and light. See you online.